of that thing.
Wind it down, just keep going, just revs.
Oh my God. Listen. Oh my God, guys. Like, it's just, the pitch, right? It changes every RPM. It's like having multiple engines in one. You know, people tell me all the time, Porsches are overrated, Porsches are overpriced. You know, they've gone away from their base. You know, the over asking to the dealership is ruining the experience. All of that is valid and true. And John and I actually were talking about that last few times because it is frustrating. But from the driving experience and from this point of view of being in the car, in the buckets, shifting it, driving and experiencing it, you get it. You get why they are so desirable and expensive. And yeah,
that's part of what drew me to it. I think it's the driving experience, and that it just gives that for a driving pleasure. It does all that, and I find the cars are just solid. I've driven the car now 16,000 miles and have not had a single issue with the car.
Wow. That's including how many track days, right?
Yeah, I've done 5 or 6 track days,
Yep.
keeping up with the big boys with their wings. I've taken it out to the mountains and we play, and I like to enjoy it. I like to drive my cars, and this one has not let me down, and it puts a smile on my face every time I turn the key on.
All right, guys, we are in the HQ. We wanted to do a little bit of a cover of the spec on this car, and John's mic'd up with me. We're going to go through the whole thing if you're interested in purchasing the car. So, you know, John, a question for you. You know, is this your first Porsche?
It is not. I had a 991 before this in agate gray as well.
Really? Same color? So you're more of a subtle guy, huh? 2013. So thoughts on the car? You know, how does it stack up to the last one you had? And just tell us.
You know, it's from the same family. However, it's a different animal, being the GT3. It's just an absolute joy to drive. It just takes the 911 experience to an 11 out of 10, while keeping the specialness of the Porsche feel and heritage. This is a driver's weapon, man. And you know how to drive her. We're gonna try the flat foot shift, see what happens.
All right, flat foot shift for the win. Oh! Oh! Hell yeah. So that was actually flat footing.
Yeah, never took my foot off the gas.
Wow. Did you get this car at MSRP?
I was fortunate enough to back in 2019.
Yeah,
it was
before everything went a little crazy.
Probably little bit lucky of timing and making enough phone calls, and I wasn't able to spec the car or order the car. However, a sale had fallen through at a dealership in Virginia. And because I was on the list and I had been talking to the sales manager, they said, we'll make you a deal for the car, but we need to close on it this month because we had it closing this month.
Sure.
And I worked out a few terms with them on my trade and pricing. And the deal was, we need it closed in 2 days, so you need to be up here with your car and your money. And if you can agree to that, we'll sell it to you. And
right time, right place. I'll go through the spec with you real quick, guys. So this came with the black RS wheels. He has these BBS wheels. These are not actually factory magnesium wheels, but they are forged wheels. So I do recommend, if you want an aftermarket wheels for a GT3 Touring, the BBSs are the way to go. They're almost the exact same thing you're going to get from Porsche. And if you didn't tell me, I would have thought they were factory. This does have the carbon fiber inserts. This does have the carbon fiber bucket seats. Again, if you've never owned a car with carbon buckets, go ahead and try one out before you spec your car on this. This is absolutely the way to go if you are a driver, but it is not the way to go if you want to daily drive your car and or take long road trips. The only adjustability is right here, up or down. It is a fixed back, not like the new 992 GT3s, mind you, which do have a folding back seat. You also, with the Touring trim, have no rear seats. Now, other than that, you're gonna notice there's no Alcantara steering wheel. This is all leather here. You can get the race text in the new versions, but everything else is Alcantara. The whole roof and all of the B pillars, A pillars, etc., are all leather. Everything's leather stitched here. This does not have color contrast stitching, but it has every other upgrade you're gonna want, including front lift, which is going to be right in the middle there. As you can see, front lift is that option at the top right. You have your sport exhaust, you have your sport mode, all that stuff. definitely get this front lift, guys. The only option actually that I would have done in this car if I had to spec it is I would have changed the gauges to white because I'm a sucker for that, and I would have also gone with the PCCB brakes as an $8,000, actually I think at the time $9,000 option. Otherwise, get the manual. You could not have gotten the PDK, I think, in a 991.2, although now you can spec it in both PDK or GT3, or excuse me, or a 6-speed manual on the new GT3. So that's an option that you didn't have back then. I would still go for the manual, personally. It's kind of the parting trick of this particular car. This is actually a car that came out after the 911R. So, John, you actually want to get a 911R, and so why don't you share folks a little bit of consciousness on that, because I think you know more about it than anybody.
Yeah, I think that back in 2016, they were in their heyday of the PDK, and they were unsure if they were going to build a manual GT car. They created the 911R as the send-off to the manual GT car, and it was such a smashing success. As I think we all know, there were 991 of them. They were all sold to VIP customers. Once they hit the secondary market, they were trading 2, 3, 4 times over sticker. And Porsche said, wait a second, if the 911R was such a success with the manual, the wingless look in a GT car, we're going to create a wingless GT3, which became the GT3 Touring in 2018.
Which is this.
This is this.
This is literally the car they created, basically.
That's right. This was the successor because of the 911R was started the Touring
because you get the GT3 Cup engine, 500 horsepower, 339 foot-pounds of torque. You get rid of the rear wing, okay? And guys, look at the spec. It doesn't even say Touring on it, except for that little bit right here. If you did not know that this was something special, the everyday person, I'm 99% sure is just gonna think this is a 911 Carrera.
I get that a lot. I always say, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. I mean, there's a couple of subtle signs. You can see the dual pipes out here, the restyled GT3 back, that is signature to this car. Again, you have the GT3 Touring here, which is signature to this particular car. And the front is also signature to this car. Whereas on the GT3 with the wing, this would all be not painted. So essentially, all of this area here would just be like this color, right? This plastic. Now it's all factory matched painted. And you also, if you didn't know, you get the actual Porsche crest and not a sticker, which is kind of cool. I personally think these are aging so well. I actually like the size and proportions of the 991.2 versus the 992. The 992 got a little bit wider, a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier. They gave you these 2 ducts here on the new one, right, versus this one single. I actually kind of think this is a better look. I like the look of the front just as much as the new one overall. Take it or leave it on you know, hey, they just raised the price. They got a little bit bigger. You know, I personally think this is gonna go down in history as one of the best Porsche generations ever. And it doesn't have gas particulate filters, not nearly as much as the newer ones have. So you're gonna have more of soul, you know, more of a rev out. Now you got the side muffler exhaust, which shaved 50 pounds. And I mean, you guys heard it on the launch and the point of view drive. Wow, this thing is a screamer.
Yeah,
what an experience.
I agree. I think this is the lightest Touring that they're going to make. Even if I don't know the specs on the new 992 lightweight, but it's just a light and fun and rowdy car. And as you said, it is a GT3 sans wing, but has the same suspension, same motor, same brakes.
It is the same
car. Same
It
underpinnings.
is 100% the same car.
A wing car. So you know, you're missing a little bit of downforce, but on the street, unless you're on a high-speed track, you'll never notice.
Yeah, can you put the wing up real quick? Like, you are missing a little bit of downforce, but the massive amount of lift that this rear wing actually gives you, and you can see here they added this little lip here, it's actually not dramatically different. I think at like 100 plus miles an hour, the difference is what, 140 pounds? Like, it's not crazy. I mean, look how high that goes up. So this is still a very capable track car, and I think John's actually had it to some light track days with some friends of ours a couple of times, and you know, you're smoking just about everything on there. So they make it all the stickiness of these 315 rear tires. It's really important. You'll learn how to drive 911s. They're not mid-engine. If they do tend to trail out on you, you are gonna spin if you're not careful. There's just a different dynamic that you have to learn when you buy a 911 and you take it to the limits. If you understand how to use that, they can become some of the most fun, tail-happy, you know, enjoyable cars, frankly, out there. You
The
know.
GT3 is so predictable in nature. You don't get some of the sudden snap over steel. It's not twitchy. It's just wonderful to drive. And I sometimes say it's almost cheating.
All right, guys, we're in the 991.2 GT3 Touring. So let's start her up. I've never been in this car before, but she's already warmed up. Turn the brake off. It's going to be right here. Pull up. Yeah, let's turn the front lift on. Turn the exhaust on for you. Now this does have a side muffler delete, so I expect this car to be pretty spicy today. Go ahead and put the front lift up. You know my driveway's a torture. And then we'll get her out of here. Well, I will say from a first impression, the clutch is definitely a driver's car. Like, you are not going to want to start off on your first car with this thing. You're going to be stalling it left and right. Yeah, it takes a little getting used to. Very tight throw on the shift though. I mean, there's very little give on it. Sounds amazing. Wow, this is really tight, John. I do have John mic'd up so he can add a little bit of color as we take it out. Again, I've never driven this car before. You're seeing it first impression. You do, and you definitely just know from hello this is a driver's car. The weight of the steering wheel, the feeling of the engaging of the 6-speed, the clutch feeling, it's got a pretty good heavy weight to it. You know, the brakes are gonna have that squeaky sound to them, right? We're gonna take it easy, just getting out into the country a little bit. But just listen to that engine, guys. Wow, this thing is spicy. I mean, geez, it's got a lot of power. You know, they say it only has 339 foot-pounds of torque, and the torque curve is really high up. But I will say, this thing, I don't know if it's the muffler delete or just the fact that it's been broken in properly, but it feels like it's got a lot of low-end pull. You know, I mean, geez, it felt like on a cool day, you could easily smoke the rear tires out.
It will. It is playful.
Man, it's very, you know, point and shoot, guys. Like, there's no give. There's, like, you have a little tiny dead zone, but overall, point and shoot. Very race car. So again, even though this is the Touring, right, it doesn't have the big, you know, wing on it, and it's still the same car. Now, this doesn't have the double wishbone suspension of the 992, but it still gets all of the racing bits, still gets all of the cup engine, still gets all of the upgraded brakes, bushings, everything else that you're going to get in a standard GT3. I would call this the adult GT3 all day. I mean, you'd never know. This is the most stealth car in the game. You would never know you're in a race car. And I think that's really cool. You know, John is not a flashy guy in my experience of knowing him. You know, this is the most subtle spec you're going to get. It's black, red brakes, right? Like, there's nothing flashy on this car. You know, and that's cool. I mean, you know, reminds me of a couple of my other friends that are the same way, right? They don't want to have bright yellow look at me money cars, right? They just enjoy the pleasure of what this car gives you, which is a world-class driving experience without all of the attention that typically a car like this would give you. You know, and that's great. That's
well said. If you know, you know. That's what I always tell people.
If you know, you know. I mean,
the people who know, know.
Just listen to that. That is 4,000 RPMs on the tach, guys. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put it in sport mode, which should give me a rev match, which is a cheat code. You can heel toe, but you know what? When the car can do it for you, you might as well, right? Because at the end of the day, you're going to cause a lot less transmission wear, and you're not going to have the oops moments.
And it's really good at it, the rev match.
Listen to that. And I know that looks like I'm pushing it, guys. I am babying it. That is half throttle. Just ridiculous amounts of power in this thing, and you only can really enjoy this car on the track. I know I say that on every single modern Porsche I review, and I will say the individual throttle bodies on this car, when you take your foot off of the accelerator, you feel the car kind of shimmy. It is just wonderful. There is so few cars like that. Now listen to that. And here's the fun part, guys. We're at 6,000 RPMs. You know what I mean? We're not even at...
Just getting into the fun zone.
Yeah, we're not even in. I mean, exactly. If you're on the track, you're keeping it between 6 and 7 all the time because that's where your max torque, max power is. And really, if you're below that, you're really just not exploiting the car to its full capability. But on the street, I do think this car gives you a little bit of blue balls, you know, because of the fact that it's so difficult to get it really high up in the RPM band. I mean, the reality is you're going to have to be at second gear right now. I mean, second gear, it doesn't feel intuitive, like I shouldn't have to take this turn at second gear, but you do if you want to be in the max power. It's a lot for the street, guys. I mean, Jesus. This car has a big shove. It really does. What is this guy doing? Anyway, amazing day for it. Beautiful fall color, country roads. I mean, this is why John and I do stuff like this, right? It's literally for the day like today, you know? That's a hard left.
So the car just is beautiful.
Yeah, it's so balanced.
So easy to drive.
It pulls so good. Ugh.
Just so easy to drive. Sometimes I tell people it's cheating.
Oh, it's a cheat code too,
car,
with the sport mode and everything. No doubt about it. Yeah.
But he'll just do this for hundreds of miles and never put up a fight, never complain.
Yeah, it never really gets squirrely, does it?
No, even cold cup twos, and he'll still hold the balance.
Oh, God, it's so good. Guys, this is my conclusion of the 991.2 GT3 Touring. This is a special car. I am a driver. I have reviewed hundreds of cars. This is one of those cars that I get out of and I go, yeah, I get it. You know, yeah, it's good. Yeah, I want one. Yeah, it gives me the little tingles and the little neck hairs, you know. This thing does it. It delivers the goods. It's got the build quality. There's no rattling. It's got the scream of that 9K red line, never to be repeated, mind you. Doesn't have the gas particulate filters, isn't as big as the newer generations, just drives great. It's a subtle build, it's a subtle spec. This is not a flex car. This is not a look at me new money car. If you're an adult like me and John are, if you haven't noticed, I drive a black Vanquish, okay? I mean, that is an adult car, right? When I ordered my RS car, which is coming, my Spider RS, I got vanadium gray with red seats, right? So it's like, I got something a little more subtle like this because I'm not a huge flashy guy. Like, this is something that you can truly stay under the radar, you could enjoy it, and you as the driver know you're in something special. Your enthusiast friends know you're in something special, and normal people don't know that you're in a race car. And it literally is a race car. I mean, the speeds that this thing will do on the street, you only can really get there and even get to 810 on the street. You just can't. I'm telling you guys, you can't get to 810 unless you just want to break every law and endanger your life. You got to take this car to the track to really get to the limits. But if you do, I promise you, this thing is going to deliver the goods, okay? So I really appreciate you watching. We're almost at 10,000 subs. Big shout out to John. Thank you so much for sharing your car with us, enjoying this beautiful fall day we had. Subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching. We really do appreciate it, and we will catch you on the next one.